So I will call to order our regular meeting. And is there a request to remove any items from the consent agenda for discussion?
Nothing, thank you.
Joy?
No.
Joan?
Yes.
Okay.
7A, and I'm sorry, I don't have the page handy.
Okay,
That's okay.
okay. Keith?
No, I don't have any consent that I think I want to remove.
Okay. And, okay, so do we take a motion to approve the order
Yes.
of items for the regular and consent agendas? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Okay, well, let's just move right on to the president's verbal report, and I want to welcome you all and our guests to tonight's board meeting. When I came in a little bit early and got to walk around and look at some of the art, we have the Art in the Hills here tonight, showcasing some art from the students from the Bloomfield Hills School District. We have a lot of talent here in the district, and I loved seeing we have art from students in developmental kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade. So a wide array of art. It's really nice. And we have a lot of exciting programs coming up, and I am very excited for our summer reading programming, so we'll get to hear about that later on. And I'm just happy that it's warmer. It's warmer than it was the last time that we were all here around this table.
Yes.
I'm gonna turn it over to Tara now for the director's report.
Thank you. Yes, as I understand it, we've already had one person ask to purchase one of the pieces of art that was hanging up in the
Wow.
library. So yeah,
Exciting.
budding careers.
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you all for being here tonight. I'm also glad that it's warm. May always means Staff Development Day, as you've heard us talk about many times already. And we do a lot of things on Staff Development Day. One of the things that we do is recognize staff in a variety of ways. And this year we gave out the Carol Mueller Leadership Award for the second time. This was an award that was created to honor the outgoing library director in 2021, Carol Mueller, by the Library Board of Trustees. It's a staff nomination, so any staff can nominate another staff. There is a cash prize involved. And the person is honored at Staff Development Day. So this year, the recipient of that award was Lauren Catoni Ellis, who is our Assistant Department Head in Youth Services. She's been with us for just a little over a year, so she's already made quite a mark in her role. She was nominated for her inspirational way that she works together collaboratively with many other departments. One of Lauren's main responsibilities is the Accessibility Support Collection, which is a very large and very complex collection. And she was making a lot of changes and updates to it and had to work across departments to do that. And they said she made it very easy. She also right away jumped into being on the strategic planning committee as well, as she was still learning her role. So she sets a great example. She was given a certificate and a check on Staff Development Day, and there's a sample of the certificate in the pass-around folder, just for your information, right here.
Oh.
In the comments.
It's a very lovely certificate.
Very nice.
Yeah. Whoever designed it, good talent.
Well, another great thing to share with you all is, how many of you know John Marshall? Do any of you know John Marshall on the Historical Society?
I know him.
You know him? He's one of the most dedicated and hardest working members of our Bloomfield Historical Society. I would say probably any historical society ever in the world.
Wow.
He's very dedicated to doing historical research, especially about historic homes in the area. And John has decided to donate to the library his whole collection of all the research that he has done on, I can't remember how many homes, but he's been working on this since 2000. All of his files, all of his papers, both electronic and paper, to the library so we can have it in our local history collection and make it available through the catalog to the wider world.
That's so nice. Is he the one that created the book?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
which is kind of sad because some of those properties are now demolished, so
but they're preserved.
they're preserved
Pages
because
of
of
those
his,
books.
because of his due diligence.
He also, I don't know if he's still doing this, but he had a little spot on BCTV called History Next Door, and he would pick a different home and talk about it. So we're very pleased to receive that from John.
Is that something that, is it all hard copy, paper?
We're getting both hard copy and electronic.
Is there part of it that might be considered to be digitized?
Possibly, we've talked about that.
Very interesting.
I wanted to give a shout out to the Michigan Library Association, which recently won an award for its work around intellectual freedom. The Michigan Library Association won the Gerald Hodges Intellectual Freedom Chapter Relations Award that was given out by the American Library Association Intellectual Freedom Roundtable. There's all the acronyms are here too. But I'm just incredibly proud of our library association for this work. They've created a resource called MI, spelled M-I, Right to Read. And it's an online one-stop shop for all kinds of resources related to intellectual freedom. I know when we were having that challenging meeting a couple weeks ago, I called the MLA and just said, I might need you guys. And they've just been really wonderful and supportive of the library community in Michigan, so yay them.
What was their response to your potential request for help?
Debbie McCula, the executive director, basically talked me off a ledge. She just said, fall back on your policy, we're here for you if you need us. She offered to make a statement to the press if the press wanted more information about, library's obligation to uphold that freedom of speech.
The press got what they wanted. So
I'm curious what the acronym is for the award. You said the acronyms were right there.
Well, it's like the Intellectual Freedom Roundtable, IFRT, the ALA,
Oh, I
the
thought it was
MLA.
like scuba or something like that, okay.
Not that cool.
No.
The MLA also commissioned a poll of Michigan voters to find out just who is in favor of censorship or not in favor of censorship. And that information was included in your board packet, so you had a chance to read that. But it's just another example of a really wonderful thing that no library would have the resources to do that, so they did it for us, which is really great. We've been approached by another school to be a reunification site in the event of an active shooter or other disaster that might cause the school to have to evacuate. Bloomfield Christian School, which is a small school on Telegraph north of Long Lake. Yeah, they have about 200 people between students and staff. So of course I said yes, and
It's a big church.
Yeah,
It's, not the one on the
It's
corner, but
connected
the
to a
bigger
church.
school north of that, I think, yeah. It's a pretty good sized school. Looks like, is it K through?
I think he said K through 12, yeah.
Okay, 200 students, okay.
So we would just follow the same procedures that we developed when we worked with Bloomfield Hills Schools. And we'll be meeting with Wally, the, I can't remember his title, safety officer, in a week or so to just review that. I've mentioned a couple times that our door access system needs upgrading. So we are ready to move forward with that project, and I have decided that we need to put out an RFP for that. Hugo, as we've said, has a lot of experience with upgrading door access systems, has a preferred vendor. We've talked to another vendor. The quotes that we've received have come in north of $77,000, which is quite a bit. Plus, I want to give our current vendor an opportunity to bid on it as well. So we will be putting out an RFP this week at some point, and then that will come before you all in July, at the July meeting.
And just confirm, this is hardware as well as
Software.
and will whichever organization we work with also be upgrading or updating as new software becomes available?
You mean like a maintenance contract? That'll be
I
something
think
we'll have
that's
to
part of the
review.
request.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a good question, that was
Well,
my
I
next
just
question,
wonder
like
if we'll need
what's,
someone else then to.
what,
No, I think
I would think they would support it, if they're selling us the hardware and the software, which I would expect, then they should be the ones to support the maintenance of it,
I would think so.
and whatever upgrades come along.
Mhm.
So is it hardware as in like the latches?
No,
It's the reader or the
Yes.
reader and the scanner. And that is probably not compliant with any employee cards that you have today, or you don't know?
we
that?
don't know,
Okay.
but we would continue to have these cards.
Of some fashion, yeah, that would.
We're just looking forward to better software. The current software is like, I don't know, the software equivalent of stone tablets.
It lasted a long time,
Yes.
so it served its purpose, so
Yes.
and it's time to move on,
Yes.
say goodbye.
And technology has advanced so much in that area.
It's not anybody's fault, it's all good.
Right.
Right.
What does Hugo think it should cost? You say he had a lot of experience with this. Did he say what he thinks it should cost?
The quotes that came in, he thought were reasonable. It's just
Okay.
that our purchasing guidelines stipulate that we should go out for RFP over $25,000.
Yeah.
I think
Just,
that's
I'm
good.
asking for that exception with the Quinn Evans thing.
Mhm.
But that's a lot, and like I said, I really wanna give our current vendor a chance to bid on it as well.
Yeah.
And this is enough of a departure from what we currently have that I think we really wanna see what's out there.
What's the lead time then? How much time are you going to give the people to quote before you get this? I mean, you're assuming this will be finished before 20,
So the RFP was actually sent out late yesterday afternoon and published on our website at the same time.
okay,
And we've asked for proposals by Thursday, June 8th, with a goal of being able to present a recommendation to you at our July board meeting.
okay,
And then we would hope the work would be done by fall.
okay, so it's this year?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And it includes the study rooms?
Yes, that'll be a major upgrade,
Right.
yes.
So internal and external doors.
Yeah, I guess you could say patron facing and staff facing doors.
Okay.
Good. And we're gonna add some doors too. There are some like mechanical rooms that we still use a key for, but we would add it.
That's a good idea.
And then I would like to turn it over to Catherine for a minute. She has a news update for you.
Sure. So I wanted to let you all know that we are planning a short series of programs for June with the Great Lakes Chamber Music Festival.
Oh,
The Great Lakes Chamber Music Festival is in its 30th year. It's a 2-week festival that takes place at multiple venues around Metro Detroit, and we partnered with them for the first time last year when they brought Pulitzer Prize winning author Richard Powers to town to be in conversation with a composer whose name I should remember, but I'm a book person, so I got Richard Powers. So this year, we had such a great success with that program. They asked immediately if they could work with us again this year, and we agreed. We thought it was a great fit for our patrons. They loved our community room. So this year we are hosting 4 artistic encounters, which are public coachings of professional musicians similar to a master class.
Gosh, how cool is that?
It is very cool. These will be on Mondays and Wednesdays for 2 weeks in June. So we'll have 4 of these artistic encounters. They're all on our events calendar, but I can give you specific dates right now. You ready to write?
I'm ready.
All right.
Sure.
Monday, June 12th and Wednesday, June 14th. And then the next week,
I got it,
Like the 19th and.
19th and 21st, all at 11 a.m.
okay.
And then on Saturday, June 17th, right in the middle, we are doing a classical family event, looking at our family in the room. It is a presentation of Little Red Riding Hood. So there is an original score written by a composer that will be performed by a string group. It'll be narrated, and there'll be some interactive activities for the children. So that's going to be Saturday the 17th, also at 11 a.m. We kept it simple and kept everything at the same time. So we're very excited to host them again. They were a great partner to work with. They are handling all the registration for the library, so if you would like to attend, You can visit the Great Lakes Chamber Music Festival website to register, or you can just look at our website calendar. It will link you right to them.
Very nice.
Nice, yes.
And that's my report.
All right, thank you very much. Can I please have a motion to approve the remaining consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you very much. And now it is time for our call to the public. We have some public here.
Everyone, this is Carolyn Noble. She is a member of the Bloomfield Hills School Board and reached out to us, and I invited her to the meeting tonight.
Great.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to introduce myself. Thank you for the introduction, I appreciate it, and it's so great to be here and see how your board meetings work. As you said, I am on the Bloomfield Hills School Board, where we have a lot of activities right now. As you may have seen in the news, we're currently hiring a consulting company to hire our next superintendent. But I'm here to be your liaison, so whatever you need from the school board, I'm here to take your emails and then find the right person that you need to partner with. So that's really why I wanted to introduce myself, to have a face to a name and be available whenever you need me, so.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. Great.
Thank you so much.
I don't think we've ever quite had that type of relationship before with the school
Yes.
board. I mean,
Oh,
we,
okay.
you know, school board members are here frequently and we know them, but
Yeah.
so this is great.
Oh, this was really fun. We have a list where we get to decide who we'd like to partner with.
Okay.
Each of us, all 7 of us.
We're all
choose-
vying for
And you all
us.
had to push everybody
I
out of
want
the way.
to touch the public library. Because honestly, I've been coming here since I was a little kid. My grandparents lived right down the street, so we would walk here, rent VHSs when I was a kid, go get some pizza, and watch a movie, you know, every
Nice.
weekend, or
That's
not every
great.
weekend, but frequently. So I have a very, warm place in my heart for
Sure.
the library here. I'm sure like all of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
we love that.
Well, we have an upcoming village in 2024, so we will
Ah.
definitely need support
Okay.
and support from the community, of course. So,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, we probably would think, reach out to you for sure for that. So
Oh, I would be.
maybe we
I would
would
love
enlist
to
your
be a
children
part.
to help us put some signs in yards.
Hey, I can put them to work.
There you go. You'll be
Been put to
fine
work.
then, yeah.
Yeah, so then she'll
Three.
really be doing
Yeah.
a lot.
She'll need her shoes put back on.
Yeah.
No, she's trying
Shoes
to
are
get
required.
Judy's shoes.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
got
Right.
Judy's shoes for
There
all
we
Shoes
shoes.
go.
are pretty,
Pretty fancy too.
sweet, I think, so.
Yes, there you go.
But I bet all of you give your time here because you care about it so much, just like I care about the school district, so.
How long
Thank
is
you
your
for
term?
everyone.
Is it 4 years like ours?
Yeah, 4
Okay.
years, yeah.
Okay, so you're during the the presidential election you're also up for, or is it staggered?
I just got elected this past November, so I have
Oh,
4
okay,
more
so it's
years.
staggered, okay.
3.5
Which is good,
staggered,
I think
yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, so 3 people are up for
Right.
re-election, or I'm not sure if they're running, but we'll see.
Well, it's nice to put a name with a face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm here to help in any way, or if there's events that are possible, activities, I'm here to partner with you in any way I can. I'm not sure what that will look like, but it's a working relationship.
Yeah.
So
Great.
I'm glad to start the conversation.
Well, word of mouth is always such a great tool, so, and we have a photography exhibit and the kids who participated, there's just like the artwork, they're so talented, so we would love to have more
Oh, yeah, for sure.
of that age group participate in that, so we'll,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be fun.
yeah.
And I can't believe that student had an offer to buy some
Yeah.
art already. I'm
Yeah.
impressed. I mean, I'm blown away by some of the students in the
Yes.
district.
Yeah.
They're gonna be doing amazing things.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Great, thank you so much for
Thank you.
being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Look forward to working together more.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we will move on to unfinished business. I don't think that we have any.
We
So-
never do. We're too efficient.
Yeah, that's right, we get it all done.
Yes.
Let's move on to new business, and we get to learn a little bit about the summer reading showcase.
Yeah, so as you all know, summer reading program is something we do, every library does every summer, to encourage reading over the summer. And I brought 2 staff with us to address you and talk to you about the plans that we have. And so I'd like to introduce Shanna Connolly from Adult Services, and Killian Weston from Youth Services. You guys can take it away. Do you want to sit here or do you want to stand or what do you want to do?
We can stand.
Okay.
All right. So every year we do our summer reading challenge, and there we go. In youth services especially, this is the time when we are able to encourage kids to keep reading through the summer when they no longer have school assigning them reading or encouraging them to read in their free time. They don't have access to the school libraries the way they do during the school year, that sort of thing. And it helps keep them ready to continue learning when they return in the fall. It gives kids a time to read what they enjoy and what they want to choose for themselves, which is so important because that's when they create all of these great experiences with reading that make them love reading. I was an English major in college. I've been a reader my whole life. Did not enjoy a lot of the things I was assigned in school, and that's, you've got things that have to appeal to a wide range. Not everything's for everyone. This gives them a chance to find those things that they're gonna love, that they're gonna latch onto, and that are gonna change their lives and affect their lives as they continue into teen years and into adulthood. We also have challenges for all ages, and that helps our community engage with the library and the rest of the community as a whole. We offer programming that brings people together and helps them explore new ideas and discover new things all summer long.
So that's the exciting overarching why do we have summer reading, and we can kind of get into the details here of what summer reading will look like this year. The theme is all together now. You can see that it runs from June 20th to August 11th. It is a little bit longer than it was last year. I understand the youth department found that families were really clamoring for something to do those first 2 weeks of August. A lot of the time the adult services area will be everybody's on vacation in August. But we did extend it a little bit this year. This is our summer reading or summer at the library webpage. So there will be a slider that will link to this, and it'll be all over the website. That's kind of our logo and our colors. The reading challenge, this is where people will link to get to the reading challenge to sign up for it. And then if you scroll down a little bit is our programs and events. These are the first are for all ages. These are really featured programs that we're pushing this year. And then if you scroll down a little farther, you can see all of the featured programs for summer reading. This barely scratches the surface of what we offer, but
So great.
It's really amazing.
so I'm gonna give you a little taste here. I'm gonna click through this registration link. So if you don't know, Beanstack is the name of the service that we use for summer reading, where patrons can log their reading and they can do activities. It's badge based, so everybody's really excited to get the badges. And it allows them to place their tickets on the different prizes electronically. So if they're only interested in one prize, they can do that. If they're not, if they really want to spread their tickets around, they can do that. This is the landing page that we have with them, which is nice because you can see that it has the logo on the upper left-hand corner. It's kind of bare bones exactly what do you need to do. Register and fill out a profile for each reader. So you need an account, and then you can make a profile for each reader. So an account for a parent, and then you can have a profile for each of the kids. Beanstack also offers an app that you can download. The kids this year are logging days that they read, and so it's easy to go in there and just say what I read today, and keep track of that. So I'm going to sign in with my admin account so that you can see what it looks like from the patron side. So this is what happens when they log in if they already have an account. Signing up is easy, email address, password. grade for the kids are you over 18 for adults. So this is a sample of the summer reading challenge that we have for you. So there's a little description, the dates. So now that I've joined this challenge, this is the first thing that you see. So there's the Ready to Read badge has been unlocked for registering. Additionally, I have won the Love My Library Lawn Sign Prize, demonstrated by Killian here. And then I've earned 1 ticket into the prize drawing. So, let's see. So this is, okay. So now we're into the challenge here. There's the overview. These are the badges that patrons can earn. So there are logging badges. And so each, for adults and teens, it's books. So how many books did you read? So you can get up to 10 tickets for logging books. It's easy to log. You click this blue button here and all you have to do is put in the title. For the activity badges is to encourage them to read. It's also to encourage them to explore what the library has to offer. And it's an excellent place for cross-promotion. So there's a Friend of the Library badge. So the theme is all together now, so the Friends is great for that. They have to complete one of these, follow the Friends on social media, visit the library shop, attend the library second Saturday sale, donate, or become a Friends member, and all they have to do is check off that they did this, and it gives them their badge and their ticket to enter the prize drawing. It keeps track of the rewards that they've earned, including the Love My Library sign as a reminder to come into the library and pick that up.
This is so great. I love how user-friendly it is.
User-friendly, dynamic, colorful, especially with the logo that we have this year. You can see for adults this year, we're doing a challenge completion prize of a tote bag. So if you earn enough badges throughout it, you can earn a tote bag. For adults, it's this one. For teens, we have these teen advisory board. And these were designed by the teens. So, let's go back to here. Okay, and then for the ticket drawings, these are the grand prizes for adults. Teens are the same places, but a little bit less money. And so I have 2 tickets to enter into this challenge. So I can decide that I want to put 1 in Target. I can put 1 in Barnes & Noble. I don't drink coffee, so that sounds good to me. Or I can just put all my eggs in the one basket, say I'm really going for that grand prize of the Barnes & Noble gift card. So this is Bean Stack. One thing, I really love that it's so user-friendly for patrons. It's colorful, it's engaging. It also has so much data on our end that I can look and see exactly how many people have signed up at each moment. I can see what they've entered. I can see one of the badges is to tell us why you left the library. And I can go in there and see what everybody, share your story, what everybody has responded in real time and see what things people are engaging with. So I really like that part of it.
For the winter reading challenge, there was a similar badge and we used all of those great comments for the Love Your Library campaign.
For the month of February.
February, yeah.
That was a good idea.
Terrific.
So that's teens and adults. The teens will also get a free book for registering, as well as the Love My Library lawn sign.
Wow.
Yeah, so that'll be part of the kickoff where they can pick their book up. So I'll hand it over to Killian. The youth one's a little bit different. Like I said, adults log books, and then youth will do a little different.
And how does the staff decide the theme, like the all together now?
It's actually a nationwide theme.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, so it's helpful because you can go and see what other libraries are doing with the same theme, so you don't have to start from scratch every year.
So is the together, are they reading the same book?
No,
Not
it's
necessarily.
it's a flexible theme.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, all together now, so the puzzles all together now, so we just kind of pick and choose from the theme as we can.
So like Shayna said, youth is actually changing up what we've done the last few years. We've been doing the amount of time kids read. We are switching over to days read this year. Part of that is out of a desire to create a habit of reading frequently rather than, I'm gonna read for 6 hours today and then not again until like 3 weeks later. So every 5 days, kids log that they've read. They will get their logging badges and be able to enter a ticket in a prize drawing. We also have activity badges. Again, we use that as a space to cross-promote different collections, different services in the library. So there's one that talks about doing science activities with friends, and that'll have a little bit of a blurb about our STEAM kit collection, things like that. So just like the teens, our kids get a book and a lawn sign when they sign up. Those lawn signs, just like with the teen and the adult ones, can be put in yards for our prize patrol. And then, like I said, every logging badge that they get to enter a ticket into a prize drawing, every activity badge as well. So I have a few things to show you guys. We do have this. This is a sheet of 3 bookmarks that Lauren, I believe, put together, or Amber Rose might have put together for Lauren. I'm not entirely sure. It has basic instructions, so people can grab this and take those instructions home to sign up. We've also had some parents who their kids are too young to log, or they don't want their kids on the computer as much logging themselves, but they forget to log for their kids if they don't have something to see. So we have created a paper sheet that they can put on the refrigerator. You can mark on there, and it's got a QR code so that they can scan it and log. They can't bring this in and be like, okay, I did my reading. They have to log it. We will have computers in the youth room that they can log in on there also to log everything. So we'll still be having all of that information, all of that data that Shayna was talking about. It all still goes in to that system so we can pull it. So these, you guys can take a look at those. The other thing with kids, every logging badge, they will get a brag tag. We started doing these last year and the kids had a lot of fun with them. There are 10 different designs, one for each logging badge. When kids come in, they get to choose whichever one they want. So if they want, an entire chain of the circle ones, they can have that. So I have those to pass around as well. They're the same, so if you want to pass them both ways, either way.
He's like, these are cool.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have one on, my Julian has one on his doorknob. It fills them up from the past.
Cool.
We see kids come in with them on their backpacks and stuff like that too.
Where do you buy the wires?
The same company that we've gotten the little tags from.
I take it. They're cute, very cute.
You've seen them.
We have some at my house too. Yep, I was just making sure my Beanstack app is up to date.
That's
Very
exactly
important.
what I was doing.
So
Makes
you
me
saw
have no
a
current
little-
streak.
You saw a little sneak peek of the programming that we have
Thank you.
for this year. So this is,
Thanks.
Thank you.
this is hot off the presses as of about 2 o'clock. So you're,
I will take a couple.
Cute.
Food truck rally.
food truck rally, there we go. So
It's a board meeting night.
Waka.
it's a kickoff on a Tuesday night, on a board meeting night. I understand that the 3 food trucks that have a variety of different foods for different people and diets will be in the parking lot by Timberlake, and we will have the gates open to the terraces, and so people can purchase their food from the food truck from the parking lot and walk over to a terrace and enjoy it on the terrace, and then come inside to enjoy all of the fun kickoff scavenger hunts, games, activities
Oh my.
for people of all ages.
Great.
Ostentatious afternoon tea, I love that.
For all ages, we'll also have the puzzle tournament. So that can be for all ages. I think they're gonna have different levels of challenges for the puzzles. For adults, the ostentatious tea we're excited about. The walking track trivia is coming back again. That'll start with the kickoff. Everyone loves speed dating with a book, so we just keep on doing it. So that'll be a Friday after hours event. For teens, Jamie is really pushing these duck hunts. We did one at Staff Development Day. It was way more fun than I expected. I have a little duck that looks like a giraffe.
Yeah, they were like animal ducks.
Yes, they're animal ducks. There are, I think somebody has a cow duck.
There's a clown duck.
There's a pirate duck.
I have a
clown one.
cupcake duck.
Cupcake duck. There are little teeny tiny ducks of various colors. There's also, I've seen giant ducks, like that are this big.
It is surprisingly delightful.
It is.
Yeah, that's
It is. So they will. This will also kind of spill over into adults, I believe, depending on teen involvement.
Well, if we get a wedding out of the speed dating, I think that one of you should be officiate the ceremony.
I don't know if you've heard the story of the patron who took a picture with all of the male staff members at the speed dating with a book and told her family that she went to speed dating.
That's
really
cute.
funny.
She comes back every time. She absolutely
Oh
loves
my
them.
gosh, it's hysterical.
And then teens and adults we are doing a lot more craft kits. So everybody loves their craft kits. So for youth,
We are actually moving away from our craft kits, partially due to our current staffing. We're waiting to fill some roles, and in order to put the programming out that we do every summer, we simply can't be doing all of that craft prep. But we do have our usual run of outdoor story times. We have some outside performers coming in, like Baffling Bill. We have some musicians for some family concerts. We have a cartoonist character workshop. That'll be a lot of fun. We're also bringing back some old favorites that we haven't had in a while, things like Splash Bash. And we're doing a big character party. They're going to be doing a Bluey party, given the popularity of Bluey. And a glow party. I'm running some D&D games. That's going to be a time. So all sorts of things going on for basically all ages, including our regular things, but also some new things.
Sounds wonderful.
Very nice.
So wait, we're getting new library cards, or this is just for fun to design a new library?
Yes.
We are getting a new library.
We have to order some coming up, so we thought this would be a great chance to design.
Sticking with the same logo, isn't that what we
Yes,
decided?
yes,
Okay.
stick with the same logo, yes.
So when we're talking about designing, is that, we'll see what it, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We've already had people asking about it, and they just put the posters and the little half slips out in youth today. I was out there starting at 5 until about 6:45, and we had at least 4 kids come up asking about it. So
Well, we have artists.
Yes.
I know a lot of libraries have like youth specific cards, like a design
Yes.
just for
Yes,
kids
right.
cards.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So it'll be interesting to see what we get out of this.
Yeah.
So in terms of marketing, we have our featuring all library programs summer brochure. And then we're also planning on doing a special e-newsletter, like the Discover newsletter, but it's just gonna be for summer. And last year, so we have really good engagement with our e-newsletters, and last year our summer e-newsletter had the highest open rate of any e-newsletters we've sent out since we got our new Savannah program in 2020. So our normal Discover e-newsletter open rate is 40 to 50%. The summer e-newsletter was 75%.
That's
Even
amazing.
40 to 50 is great.
Yes.
So yes, 40 and 50 is great, and 75% is
Yeah.
is amazing, unknown. So this year, in addition to we're sending it out more widely than we have before because it seems like a great resource and way. So there will be a summer is starting, sign up, come to the kickoff, and then there will be one closer to the end of summer. Don't forget about us, log your tickets and come to the finale. So I'm looking forward to putting those together. We showed you the lawn signs. We are also doing a prize patrol. So when patrons pick up their lawn signs, they'll be asked would they like to participate in the prize patrol. We will take their address. Then staff go out and drive and look to see if they have their lawn sign out. And if they do, they will get a tote bag, a library branded tote bag, full of library and book related swag. So last year this included some fun socks and puzzles and library swag, like branded swag and all sorts of things for people of all ages. So I'm really excited about this. I loved seeing the pictures on social media last year of the people getting their bags and that, are the lawn signs in front of the houses. So we have some extra lawn signs here if anybody needs a refreshed one for the new year. So we'll leave them here.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I got to go to a lot of drop-offs last year for that, and people were just so excited. It was always great when you could catch people at home, like the whole family's outside playing outside. And so like you get to go back and there's people from the library. It was really cute.
It is cute.
That's great. This is so great. I am very excited about the summer here. You guys do such a great job.
Yes.
Really,
totally.
such a great job with all these planning all these programs, and it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Very wonderful.
It'll be a great summer.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
All together now. I like it.
Yes.
The signs over here, and extras that member takes, we'll get them.
Okay.
Thank you both so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to our board meeting discussion. And we have a memo on page 33. So I'm just gonna pull that up here. And Tara, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this was inspired by a email I saw that came through the Michigan Library listserv. It just said, my board are going to be talking about setting their goals for the year. What are your boards doing? I was like, what are my boards doing? So I just thought we could have this conversation because we did just develop that strategic plan, and this has just been on our mind as we talk as a staff about what we want to do for the next year to 3 years. So I thought we could talk about it too. Intertwined into that is the evaluation of library operations and our statistics. We've had the same statistical report for as long as I've been at this library, and I just wonder if I would like to see some changes to it, maybe make it, for instance, reflective more of the digital touch points that people have with the library, because that's only becoming more and more important. So
And what do you mean by that? How many website hits? How many?
Ebook use, e-audio book use, streaming use, just how people interact with us. So I'm just curious to hear your thoughts.
Would it say what they're looking for, or?
No,
Okay.
nothing like that, just statistics on
Okay.
numbers.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Just to give an idea of how many people are using the electronic
Right,
materials versus.
right.
Or yeah, just painting a more detailed picture of how people use the library.
To what objective? What is the objective of having the statistics, do we think?
Well, it helps us know where to put our resources, because if somebody's using something a lot, then we know that they want it and we can funnel money and resources to that area. It helps us as managers evaluate how the library is being used. it helps you all in your role as, like I said in the memo, a 30,000-foot view of library operations, evaluate how people are using the library. We could use it to help make decisions, we could use it to justify purchases, we could use it to help justify programming, yeah.
So that's for our use. Do we also want to, for example, after I read this, I just went out to Google and Googled library statistics.
Okay.
So, and what I saw is apparently there are some libraries that prepare a very colorful snapshot of their statistics and somehow publish that. And is that something we want to do also? It's a very user-friendly, single page, lots of color.
Infographic.
Yes,
Yeah,
infographic, here's the
Digestible.
and maybe it's something we want to do as we're approaching the
Millage.
the millage, yes.
I would agree that that's a great, very easy way for people to get a grasp on information,
Where their
period.
money
Yeah.
goes.
But definitely so that people can see just how much our library is used and in what ways, because certainly something will be pertinent to each individual.
It's a good cross-promotion technique.
Yes, and there was a lot of examples just on Google of library statistics pages, just all done in all these different ways. So maybe that's something that somebody with an artistic bent might want to design, and then we can figure out what are the most important statistics. I mean, I like what you said, but so it's just one approach. But I understand the need for statistics to manage the library, but then also to somehow promote the library. So,
And I think you can do both.
yes, absolutely, yes.
I don't know how equipped Sierra is in their analytics, but I imagine that they collect a lot of raw data. How well do they digest that data and put it into pretty pieces?
They don't. We would have to do that. So we would have to decide, that's kind of where the conundrum is. It's like, what do we want? Because we can get it, but then we have to download it.
That's a lot of work.
It is, yeah. But there's software that you can overlay to it to make more sense of it. And we've been Catherine and I were just talking about AI today, and it's what a lot of people have talked about lately, yeah. When Shane emailed me to say he couldn't be here today, I asked him if he had any thoughts on it, and that was one of his, was utilizing ChatGPT or the other open AI pieces. And that might be a use for that, is analyzing that information.
I think infographics are really good because it allows a lay person
Yes.
and let's face it, we're not computer scientists here, we're lay people. But it helps to convey a message in a understandable way. I would think it would make good sense to support our strategic goals of being in the community, to be able to sort of separate some of this maybe by age, but by interest. I think the reading challenge is amazing, and to see all this programming is amazing. I think what would also be really amazing would be things like how many people took out books, how many kids did read, and it looks like Bookstack will be able to tell us a lot of that. But I think as we're starting to get 1 year out from millage, to be able to show the connection between money spent or money supported out of taxes to tangible ways that individuals are using the library to better their environment. And I think the reading challenge is a perfect way. They do it to keep skills active over the summer in a fun way. Not to say that school isn't fun, but in a fun way that brings families together and brings kids together with reading and adults together with reading. So to me, that would be like ground zero.
That's a great point. using statistics to build our argument of how, I like the way you said it, between money and the tangible things that people use the library for to improve their lives.
I think it's just going back to the strategic plan. You know, those are the goals of our, pretty much of our plan. So kids are just one area, but I think that certainly, you know, connects the school board, the students, the families, the library.
So maybe as a board, which is how this discussion started, was what kind of something, what can we take on as a board, is really what you were asking. We could consider taking on the development with some kind of suitable support, assuming that there's somebody in the library staff who you'd be willing to assign to do this. Maybe as a board, we could work with that person to come up with a design of this or a content of this infographics page that meets the objective that you just outlined. That could be something we could do as a board. Just a thought.
Well, I think there are, and it's escaping me what it's called right now, but there are business analytics tools that you can overlay your data to get to pictures and narrative that still tells a story. That's probably what we should do, but I think you're right. Like, I think we take something like Beanstalk and say, what's the data we can get out of it? If this is a good place for us to start, let's try with what is the data we can get out of it, and then how can we tell a story? Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Because I think ultimately that's what you want to do. The data is, but you have to use the data to tell the story.
And I think the bigger picture is telling the story in order to position ourselves well as we approach the millage.
Yes,
Yes.
that's clearly the objective of the whole
Exactly.
thing, absolutely.
Yeah, so, you know, the big picture is that we as a board will work towards securing the millage.
Yes, right.
And this is one way,
This
one
is
tool.
The tool is to focus on some information that's very digestible and very easily presented to the community about whatever we think should be in that infographic page, you know.
Well, maybe even each month you
Don't take on too much. Careful each month.
quarter or something. Well, I think we take stock of what our community is and sort of find those segments that we want to make sure that we're attracting, supporting, and then we can sort of go back, like the business community. Then we go back to some of the business databases and some of the guidebooks that we have and the directories and the things that we know they're using, and then figure out what kinds of data we can cull from those to tell the story. So maybe, you know, some month is, did you know your business community does, you know, can be supported this way? And I'm making this stuff up,
But you're saying market segments basically, and then finding out how they're currently using the library or what resources we have and how they're being used, and then telling that story of that each specific segment.
creating awareness of that, yeah. So maybe one day it's a pie chart, 1 month it's a pie chart, 1 month it's an infographic, 1 month, I don't know.
Okay, I was just thinking in terms of developing one page that we would then just use over and over again, but that's a little bit more ambitious objective, okay.
Well, I see yours as the overall, and I approach my ideas, my brain work differently, but I see yours as the overall and then maybe Joyce as the subset.
And that's fine, depends on how much work we
Yeah,
want,
well,
take on,
right,
how much
exactly.
resources the
Exactly.
library has available to support the
right.
effort, so.
I approach it a much different way in the sense that we've been on boards where if you look at the photographs that are in that other room, we had several meetings and there was no clear direction at all because we all had our own opinions. And so we did hire Lori Tennant, who came in and said, this is the idea that this is what you wanna grasp, this is what you wanna do. And from that point on, so I think, I don't wanna spend valuable board time. I mean, we could all list what we think is important and then turn it in and have somebody assimilate all the information, but I think that we're better served as spokespeople. I know that the two of you were at the meeting several weeks back and you supported what the mission is of the library and all of that, and I think with the millage, you're going to certainly have people who wanna know statistics, but that is tiny about this community. I mean, we don't have a city center. This is it, and under this wonderful umbrella, you have so many things. You've got this whole list of activities to do, and I think that the way that we express that, whether we go to churches or synagogues or mosques, or if we go to book clubs, or if we go to mom and mothers with kids meetings, I think the enthusiasm that we have is better than, and I like the idea of gathering the statistics, but I know from our experience with several of the projects that we had, we all have our differing opinions and we all think that this is more important than the other. And I know that we've talked about hiring probably a marketing person, and he or she, this would be a great tool for them to get all of this information and then put it in a way that we can best disseminate. The elevator speech. You're going to have 30 seconds and somebody, you're either going to catch their opinion, and to hand them a sheet of statistics, unless they're really, I wouldn't read it. Unless I would take it home, but not at that very moment, and I put it aside and I go, okay, I mean, it's like when I'm voting, I don't necessarily look at the judges that very second that I get the information, but as I'm ready to vote, I will do that. So I guess I just come from a different direction in the sense that I think the statistics are very important to gather all of that, but I think for us, I think that we serve a better role out in the community, we serve a better role as ask the board, and with the millage, we can't, inside the library, their hands are tied.
Right.
They are unable to do anything, they can't say yay or nay, oh, should I vote for you? So we are really now going to be that at the beck and call of people who are looking for information, so I think it's a great idea, but I would rather see our time spent saying, okay, what are the topics that we need to know and know well, as opposed to gathering 5 people, like this, and 10 people. And I think the marketing person, and again, I would say, yes, I would wanna know how many study rooms are being used and how many facilitate that, because that's a usable space.
And that's more what I'm looking for from you all, like, what are you curious about? What do you not get from us that you would be interested in, or what do you think what do you hear from your friends and neighbors about?
Because we had that conversation years ago. One of the person came in and complained that every time she comes to use a study room, it's already used, and she has a wait time that she doesn't like, and so oftentimes she's finding out that they're not necessarily Bloomfield Township residents, that they've come in, and I don't know if that's been resolved, but I mean, there's things like that, or how are we going to use the computer room and unused spaces, and the vending machines, can we get this kind of vending machine? So yeah.
Well, and what I just did is I, jotted down just what my priority was, the goals. Well, obviously, the first one was to get the millage renewed. Okay, so we already know that. But the next two were, in my mind, to bring in the community, and one was the space, reutilization. So I don't know how we get that word out, or how we're going to decide that, or how we do that. I was glad to see that Brooke and Lauren are on that, I guess, committee. I think I read that.
Yep.
in the
Which committee is that?
Those, so there are 3 committees that are formed around
Spaces.
around strategic planning goals, and one of them is spaces. And then
Yeah.
Brooke and Lauren are.
Brooke and Lauren were on that.
Yeah.
And then I'm always the rah-rah for this, more community events.
Sure.
And I know we might not be able to have a gargantuan community event like our 50th anniversary or whatever. Maybe we could have a couple of them this summer. maybe it'll stick in people's minds for a year from now, or we can have some next summer.
It'll be our 60th anniversary next year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so maybe we better get working on that. So that's how I kind of looked at your question, Tara, in the board packet. I think our strategic plan goals are great. I'm not sure exactly how we get there, but those were my ideas for, how we're gonna get to the millage.
Okay. But you kind of want to know whether we're reading the statistics and whether they're telling us anything. I mean, I wouldn't mind, we should discuss that a little bit. Go through each statistic and what does it mean, or what do we think it means? I mean, I don't know how to answer that question without spending some time thinking about the statistics and talking about them, basically. Well, why do we gather this one? What is it telling us? I might look at it and think, well, that's not really telling me anything, but someone with more insight like you might say, Keith, you should realize that that's telling you this.
Right.
I may not realize that, so I think we would need to spend some time talking about the statistics. I think that's what you want us to do, so it seems like we need to have a session in which we meet outside of a regular board meeting and just discuss the statistics that are being gathered.
Or we could devote a little bit of time in every meeting to, going through them bit by bit.
That's fine too, yeah.
I mean, to your point, Judy, I agree with you that we don't want to spend too much time getting into the weeds on the details, because you're right, it is more of your spokespeople for the library, and you have a higher view. But because you are representing the community, I want to tap into that collective brain to figure out how to tell that story. I think getting the millage renewed clearly is the primary goal, and knocking through these strategic planning goals as well. Obviously, I think you all will support that as well. But maybe we could spend a little bit of time at every meeting talking about statistics, going through our current report, seeing if they're understandable and if there's some kind of tweak that could be made to make them more interesting, tell the story better.
When you get the comments from the public, do we keep them for a lengthy amount of time? The reason I ask is because oftentimes there'll be suggestions, we need more this, or my friend wrote once that we need more than one copy of the New York Times. And I'm just wondering, because those two are telling on what the public wants, that they won't necessarily, if we fill out a survey, maybe they'll do the survey, but they will express what they want, what they need, what they think we're failing at, what we're something. And so those might be a good resource to start seeing how we would develop some sort of statistical.
What people are looking for,
Yeah, because
we do keep them.
Okay.
Or book requests.
Sure. More romance novels, more
Book club books, more
Yeah,
whatever
right,
it is, they're.
or longer hours on, are the hours applicable? I mean, should we start earlier? Should we stay later? I don't know.
We do keep all the comments and we compile them in our annual report, so I wonder if that's something ChatGPT could analyze.
Oh.
I'm all about the AI. It can help us.
If we go back to the statistics, cause I'm hearing both sides of this, and I'm wondering, I think you put it out there for us to comment on, and I think, to your point, part of it is we don't know what we don't know. But I'm wondering, because I know you're staffed with people that know exactly what they're doing, because that informs their collection details. So I'm wondering, instead of us delving into some of the raw data that you're getting, would it make more sense to have, like we did for the ambassador meeting, that if we had someone that's handling e-resources and collection development in that area, they're obviously evaluating the resource use, what kind of statistics go into deciding how those are developed and served up to make decisions about what to buy and not to buy, what to renew, what not to renew. Would it make sense for someone to periodically come in and talk to us about that? Would that help us understand if that's marrying up with the comments about from certain areas about things that we need to be looking at in the community? I guess ultimately that's what I struggle with is I know that you're purchasing for our collection based on what our users are asking for and how they're using resources. But I'm not sure that we know that.
I wouldn't want the librarians to think that somehow they have to justify their decisions to us as the board. We're not professional
No, I'm not
librarians.
asking for justification, I'm more asking for, let us in on, share some of your process with us. I guess more like the ambassador meeting. And if that's not what you're thinking would be useful, then
I understand what you're saying. I was thinking more like, for example, in every month in here, there are charts showing gas usage and water usage and electrical usage. And I look at that and say, okay, what is this really telling me? I don't know if it's really telling me anything, because here's what it was last year and here's what it is this year. I don't know. Is there something in there that I'm supposed to somehow garner, get out of that? I don't know. So I'm curious to know why those charts are in there and what.
It's more for expense, so like the water will go up or down, the electricity will go up or down.
Okay,
But
so
then you have.
I'll tell you what you're going to start doing. We're going to start turning the lights off.
They do, some of these do turn off. Well, and then of course you have the room usage. So that's a great statistic because we can figure out, and I know we made a different ruling about how often people, because at one time nonprofits could only rent the room 3 times a year, and now it's it's much more available for them. So we made that determination. So but you're right, and it does talk about how many books are taken out or ebooks are read in a month. So we do have statistics that we do have in our booklet. So I guess what I want to know is that we have so many committees that we're all on. What in your mind are either that we need to either firm up, bulk up, or that we are missing? Is there something that is coming to you that you think and it's not that we're failing in it, it's just that it has not been brought up. So, because we're on building, we're on art, we're on fund development, we have personnel. So we have all these committees that we all serve on, and I'm just wondering if there's something, and the only thing that I can think of is that we're again, I go back to the community, we're more of a presence. Because the second I say I'm on the board at the library, I'm always getting an earful, good things. I mean, about good, I love this library, I do this, and this, but so I don't know if you've thought about how we could assist you and in turn the entire library and in turn the community.
I would have to give that some thought. Nothing comes to mind right away.
Okay. Because I'm just wondering if there's another committee that we need to start.
Sure, yeah.
Should there be a
should there?
millage?
Right.
Well, I think that's probably everybody.
Yeah. But I mean, do
I'll
we want to
give that
engage
some
them with
thought.
more children and teens? You saw the little kids today, they were very active, and then we have this wonderful support, this program here with the art, and we just got this amazing collection from this man on all the history of Bloomfield Township, that I think is amazing. So I don't know if there's something that we should be doing, maybe adding a different group.
I'll think about that.
Okay.
Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just wondering, you're legally required to have this board, and I've often wondered, do you consider that a blessing? Or do you consider that
What a
something
great
you have to
And
put
remember,
up
we're
with?
on camera.
For one thing, that's okay.
I consider myself extremely fortunate to have you all for a board.
Do you agree, Linda?
No, I was part of a group of library directors this morning talking about crisis communication. And somebody mentioned that, they just got a new person on their board and they had bad feelings, and we talked about it only takes one bad board member to make things
Upset
very
the
That
apple.
thing is very, very
Yes.
unpleasant.
And
yes.
I usually keep quiet during those conversations because I'm very, very lucky. No, you all care deeply about the library, and so I guess I want to harness that somehow to make things even better and tap into your networks in the community and what you love about the library. So that's
And maybe one of the things that we could consider is that, we share this whole community with other entities, the fire, the police, the city. Maybe we need to be more involved with them, maybe we need to attend a meeting, or maybe they need to come here, or maybe we need to have like one big workshop where we talk about, if you ask me who the police chief is, I don't know.
That's a really good point, and I think at one time there was a Bloomfield Township liaison committee or appointee.
Yeah.
So that might be.
I think that's a
I'm
great.
wondering the same, like, should
Sure.
somebody be sitting on the school board
Maybe.
or attending,
Yeah.
I guess?
What was that question? What did you just say?
I thought that we recently talked about there being, it must have been when we were talking about committee appointments.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's
That there,
Oh, you're
that
right,
there is
yeah.
technically someone
There is,
who's meant
but-
to be a liaison.
But I'm just
maybe
wondering
there's
if-
an opportunity for us to also communicate with the township
Yeah.
board.
Have a breakfast. We have this beautiful community room. Why not have a breakfast? And as I said, I wouldn't know the chief of police or the fire department. Now there's gonna be a new superintendent,
Yes.
maybe one of us could be on that committee where they're, children. So I just think that there's almost, in my mind, not a disconnect because I could be curious and just go knock on the door, but I know when Jan Ronselli was there, everyone knew Jan. And there's all these people, and I think it would be it's not an election year, so no one's trying to rub shoulders and get, I think this would be a great time, and as we're approaching I wouldn't even say the millage, I would say our 60th anniversary of being in this community, of being the center of the community where people of all ages, races, religious backgrounds, whatever, can come into this and find comfort and find what they need, and I would be curious as to who's running things, and we're under that umbrella where, they pay your payroll and things like that, so maybe we would get together a group of, and then we could talk about, hey, there's a millage coming up and we're celebrating our 60th, but they could in turn say, there's a millage coming up, we
Right.
want more sidewalks and
Right.
that kind of thing, so, but then we would be a spokesperson for that, so.
Well, the police millage went through,
Right,
so.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that.
I'd have my parking tickets taken care of.
If you had
Now,
your
is
parking spot,
that's
you
what
could-
this is all about?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Your
That's
parking
the
space and your
underlying.
I knew it.
She brings it up. She brought it up as a spelling bee.
I know. There's a theme developing
She's
here.
like, what is the word in parking?
I thought there should be the word parking space as one of the adult words. I don't know. I know that Sandy Edwards was very instrumental in bringing politicians, and several of them had meetings here because they didn't know that they had this resource to do that. So even local politicians, we have judges. I'd love to meet them. So and I think there's always, when there's ever an election year, there's always like, okay, they're doing that just to angle for things, but this isn't an election year. Right now, we're free of all, I know it's
So
starting
it seems like
in
the
the federal.
perfect time to do it then.
Yeah.
What exactly are you talking about? Having
Just to get to
Town
know
halls.
people, yeah,
Inviting
here.
elected officials to
to
the
an open
library.
house.
Yeah.
Okay.
or,
That's an interesting
people who
thought.
are the fire, invite firemen and women, invite police people, the secretaries who answer all those phone calls, they should be honored too. I don't know, I just think that would be nice.
I just got an invitation to the Women Officials Network.
Oh, yeah, I used to be on that, yeah.
And I haven't, with COVID,
Sure.
I haven't gone,
Sure.
but I just got an invitation. And then I used to work in the mornings and now
Right.
I'm
Right,
retired, I guess. I'm
yeah, Peggy
retired-
got us
officially
looking.
retired. And it's in June. So I'll have to look at the date. Maybe I should go
Yeah.
and just
Pam used to I went to those a couple times,
Yeah.
Pam went and I know Peggy went, so,
Peggy went.
Mhm.
And I used to see Jan there all the time.
yeah,
Who knows, Jan might still go.
she probably
Maybe,
will,
yeah.
So maybe I should go
yeah,
and schmooze.
sure.
See what's going on.
I think it would be, especially in light of that recent meeting that was held here, I think it would be nice to have some township-wide kinds of groups coming in.
I could even see the clergy people
Yes.
as part of that as well, because they have
I'm
congregations
sure
that,
there's
that may not come here, but sure.
multi-congregational.
Well, I'm hearing some themes. We talk, of course, the millage, bringing in the community and elected officials, some kind of connection to the township that we don't have, maybe a little bit deeper connection. I think there's some things I can work with here, and I like the idea of having a little learning or something to work on in each board meeting, so I think we might take that suggestion and go through our statistics and think about that. And I mean, that would be something we as a staff would do, that work, and bring it to you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I can hear some ideas.
And I think I would put that under other, if we do it each month, the other,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's the place for it,
I mean,
because it's not new business.
I still like the idea, as Keith was saying,
I
like.
wasn't thinking something,
Well, no, these
Yeah.
are that, these stats that are just in tables, that maybe we could
Yeah.
present these in.
Talk about that.
Make them
Um,
prettier.
yeah,
You want them to look nicer?
They need to. they
What
need to
was
be
what was the term you used?
infographic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
infographic, sure.
Already
You have
added
the
over
nature
here.
center, You have the nature center, you have the
Catherine
farm.
is.
I mean, I like to do the farm.
No,
Oh.
I used to,
I think
that
that's a
was
good
well
idea.
fit at the farm, I love the farm.
All right, thank you for indulging me in that exercise. Let me make.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's.
I'm always open to your questions, thoughts, ideas. Let me say a word about the millage. I did meet with Jason Tice, and I have some information about timing and timelines. I'll put it in writing and share it with you at a future meeting. But as Judy said, we will not be able to do any campaigning on library property or on library time. So when it comes time for that, we'll have to form a committee, a couple of staff people, I'm sure Catherine and I would be on it. You all, some friends, the ambassadors. So keep that in your mind.
Oh, the ambassadors,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's great,
Yeah.
yes. We
Can
have
I just
them
make
now.
one strong suggestion? When we had the millage the last time, there were probably half of our signs taken off because we were in the easement. So when you talk with township officials, make sure that we know where we can put them, but I mean, we had signs right across the street and that's considered township property, not private property, and they had to be removed. And some of the times we were able to get them back, but that was a big expense. And other times they were just taken and pitched, so if we had some idea on what the rules and regulations are and what is considered an easement, is it 3 feet off of each property? I don't know.
Okay.
You mean
So-
between the street and someone's home?
Yes, but we
Gotcha.
had, we were on Cranbrook Road going towards Seahome, but on that side, and that was, every single sign was taken down. Every single sign, and we never got them back. And we had hundreds of signs, and it was expensive, not only that, and then to assemble them, but then to get them out to people too, so. And then the night before, of course, we went to all the different polling places. All of us had
Yeah.
a different section, and we were able to do that. And we were the only people the very next day who had them removed. Other people, the candidates were very whatever that word is, lackadaisical, to get them out, but yeah. So if you could find out, cause that was heartbreaking, because there were so many that were taken, so.
Okay, thank you. I know
We'll move on to the roof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roof repair.
I'll just talk about that.
Okay, well, and before you do though, let's take a look at page 35, because there is.
That's where the memo is, yeah.
Yes.
And the quote. So I had brought this up at the Building and Grounds Committee meeting. I had just received the quote a couple days before that and hadn't had time to process it. Since then, I've read it multiple times, and Hugo and I have talked quite a bit about it, and I've talked to Richard Renaud, who's the person who wrote it. And I understand a little bit better that we've got sort of 3 projects on our roof that need to be done. One is repairing the membrane, which is very unfortunate that we just had that placed in 2019, but there was something wrong with the installation. My visual, I keep thinking I was like putting saran wrap over the edge of a baking dish, and they just didn't do it right. So it's been peeling away in some spots, so that has to be addressed. The next thing is the skylights in the magazine room. I don't know why, but that wasn't part of this roof renovation, and they still leak during certain types of rainstorms. And we could get some new ones to have that fixed. And then the cedar fascia, which is around the perimeter of the building, it's a very beautiful, it's like a 3-tiered wood eave, basically. Because of the water problem and because of the scuppers that shoot the water off the roof, and because boring insects really like to make a home in that wood, and then woodpeckers come along and eat them, the cedar fascia is in desperate need of repair, yes. So Richard is proposing finding an alternate type of wood that wouldn't be so attractive to insects and woodpeckers and so susceptible to the elements, but something that would be stained to look similar to what we have now. So his quote for $41,000 is for assistance with architectural drawings for all of these things, shopping basically for new skylights and the wood repair, doing a bid process to see who would do this work, and also overseeing that construction as I don't think they would be the owner's representative, but making sure that the work was progressing and providing updates.
More like a general contractor
Yeah.
for the project.
When Richard and I talked, we talked about going out for a bid. We could also, another option is just to go straight back to the source that did this project in the first place, which would have been Rewald, and CEI was the roofing company, and Sika was the product manufacturer that we used for that membrane. And having them just come back and redo this work, basically. That would be what I would be in favor of.
Even though they didn't do it right
I was gonna say they
before.
didn't do it right though.
Yeah.
Right, but they know the roof, they know their project.
Right.
We can put it out for a bid
But I
if
mean,
that's your
would they give
preference.
us a deep discount because we're gonna have to pay?
It's out of warranty.
I know, but it's out of warranty, but they created
So we
that.
have no recourse,
Well,
basically.
this would be things we would have to find out.
Is it the product that failed or is it the work that was put?
I think it's the workmanship, the installation of it.
Okay.
Well, I think we need to have Richard or Hugo or someone speak with them.
Of course,
I mean,
yeah.
we need to address it at least, but maybe we won't have them to.
So it sounds like you would prefer if we put this out to bid and try to get a different person.
Well, here's another question. Do you remember we hired an independent, was that from Quinn Evans or from Rewald? Somebody to oversee the project to make sure things were on time and so that we didn't have to do that on a daily
was
basis.
Rewald.
Okay, and what did there's a failure then on their part not to see it.
Do they know that this is?
Cause
This is
whoever
where
was
we
the
are now?
yeah,
This
whoever's the
happened?
manager.
Rewald?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Cause we're not talking about a small space, we're talking about the entire roof.
I remember Richard coming to meet with us. What did he do before?
Well, he basically served the same role in their original roof restoration.
Okay.
And I'm surprised they didn't bring up the skylights.
So Quinn Evans was not involved before, is that correct in any way?
Well, they were involved in the same way that they're proposing to be involved here. So they did architectural drawings and they assisted with the bid process.
But not the actual work.
Right.
Okay, so they didn't inspect any of the work. Somebody didn't inspect something, so that the work was done improperly.
Or it
So-
could be, the way I understand it is it didn't become apparent until later, till the project was closed out.
So that means that I think the product failed, and maybe it sucked itself back in like this, and so they applied it right, but there's a failure at some point, but I'm wondering what it was.
Well, so the quote that's in front of us right now is to move forward with this project. So this is just for, kind of the architectural drawings, the bid oversight, and the construction.
To get it off track, to get it going back on
to
track.
get it going back on
Okay.
track. So we could have Richard and or other people who were responsible for the original installation come and address all of these questions, because I can't answer them right now. So what I'm looking for right now is your guidance on whether I should move forward with this part of the process, or do you want to put this off and have Richard come and address you at a
And
later?
who is Richard again?
Richard Renault is with Quinn Evans.
Okay.
He's a roof specialist with Quinn Evans, which is an architecture firm.
I get it, and Richard was involved before, okay.
And why would we need architectural drawings again? I mean, nothing's changed architecturally.
That's a great question.
I mean, I'd be in favor of talking with Richard to say, this is what's different, this is what's the same. You helped us last time, we'd be interested in engaging your time again, but what would be different? And how can we decide if it was workmanship, materials, application? We need to decide those things before we can decide what our next step is.
And how do you,
Can you help us with that?
and what will you do this time to confirm that it's done correctly? So
Yep.
you kind of screwed up, I wouldn't say it to that way, but you kind of screwed up last time.
Well,
I don't know if
something,
it's
I don't know what it
him.
was.
Why?
Right.
Well, I wonder about that because the product was put on and presumably this gentleman or somebody from Quinn Evans understood the product and should have been able to determine that it was put on
Well,
properly.
I'm probably not
It's
explaining the
Rewald.
roles correctly, because Quinn Evans wouldn't have had anything to do with it. It would have been CEI was the roofing company that did the actual work up on the roof.
And
Queen Evans was more like a producer gathering all these companies together, because I know we had very few companies who could do
they're the
that work.
architect.
They're
Right.
like the consultant.
Right.
Yeah, but what good did they do? They didn't make sure that
They
it
did
was.
all the architectural drawings.
Yeah, but they didn't really do anything to make sure that the work was done properly.
That wasn't their
I don't
role.
think their
that-
role
right,
was
that-
that. They hired a contractor that was
Well,
CEI.
there's a lot of
Rewald.
questions on
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah.
would you like me to we're not gonna approve this quote tonight and then bring Richard in? Is that what
Yes.
I'm hearing?
I think
That would
we'd be
be nice.
comfortable just talking with him.
Yeah.
Well, we have a building and grounds.
Well, we do
meeting.
have one, but he cannot attend that, so we're gonna have to come
Oh.
up with another time for him to come and address the group.
Okay, but it sounds like there is a strong possibility that overseeing this work was not his job.
Correct.
And so he may come here and say, that wasn't my job.
I
And
think
then
what he's
I
going
don't
to
know if we'll have the answers that we,
I think what he's going to say is that it was not installed properly, and that when Rewald went back to CEI and Sika to say that we were having these failures, finger pointing started.
Yes.
It's out of warranty, and we just are going to have to bite the bullet and get this fixed.
I think the biggest question I had, maybe it's just you asking him the questions that we're asking you. I think Joy was right. Why would, if they've already done the schematics and the plan of the roof, why would we need to have another one? And I don't know, maybe there's a different product that has to have, 3 inches from the corner or something. I have no idea, but maybe it would be a better, maybe we don't have to meet with him, but if maybe you go to him and ask him the questions that we're concerned about.
Well, you guys have a lot of questions, I would feel better if
Okay.
you could talk to him.
Yeah.
Hugo, if it was you and Hugo. I think that's it. I think we're trying to decide like you probably are, who's at fault? Or where can we correct maybe what was done before? I don't think it's the architecture or the architect.
No.
It's
I
not.
believe it's in the installation
Or
and
the product.
materials. And I would not really be in favor of any of them coming back, because if they're just gonna point fingers, that's not helpful. And I get it, we're not under warranty anymore. So probably a clean start is a good place to go, but we also we don't know enough to be able to say, tell us the direction you would go in if it was your roof.
I'm trying to remember the buildings that we saw that they showed us what age they were. I know one was rather old and had been on there for a while. I think it was like a playing field.
That the same materials.
Same material and that
And
was, yeah.
configuration or something.
And they didn't
Oh,
seem to have
Ford
any issues.
Field that they did?
I don't think it was Ford, but it was
I
a
think it
field.
was.
Was it Ford? Okay. So, and yeah, so,
Think
but
of-
again, I
theirs
don't know,
will
but
last then.
theirs is more dome shape and ours is a
Yes.
mansard roof, so.
Well, but whatever, somebody should.
Yeah.
It's only been 4 years.
I know,
and
that's what's crazy.
so somebody did something wrong,
Mhm.
and
And 41 grand is a
Yeah,
lot
why-
of money.
why was the warranty only for a few years? So
Alright, I will,
yeah, let's have them come in.
alright,
I think we need somebody, if somebody's gonna take this role, it has to be somebody who's willing to accept some responsibility for what they're being paid for,
And be able to go back to some of these companies and say, you need to make good on this, to some extent.
Cause I would be
Maybe-
curious
maybe-
as to what other materials are up there and what their warranties are.
and you made the point, one was dome, this is flat, well, was the correct material chosen? I have absolutely no idea.
right, cause
No,
you weren't,
none of us
present
do.
at that
Yeah,
time yet.
well, it's just that this is for somebody who's an expert with roofs, which we're not, but presumably that's why we're hiring Quinn Evans, because they know something about this. So,
Alright, I will
Okay.
bring in Richard and maybe somebody from Rewald to explain what happened.
okay.
So I'll be reaching out to you guys for dates and when we can.
Okay,
Sounds good.
great.
Okay,
Thank you.
Is there a time factor involved? So like every time it rains, does it leak in?
well, it doesn't leak into the building, but it's ruining the soffit and the eaves around the perimeter.
So that's starting to disintegrate. Okay.
There's warping. It's particularly dramatic on the east side of the building by like the redwood trees. You can see that the cedar fascia is, the laminate is peeling and it looks real bad over there.
Right, and that's that, which is separate from the membrane.
Well, it's part of that
Oh, it is.
problem, yeah.
And the skylights,
The skylights are
Right.
independent of
right,
this
so,
problem.
but that still needs to be addressed.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Same company though?
Well, they're-
They were
Involved in the
part of it,
skylight
they were
or
still
not?
there, they were, yeah.
Alright, thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we will go ahead and discuss the items removed from the consent agenda, and those were, that was 7A. And what page, let's
She
see,
didn't
page
know.
11, 10?
Page 10.
Okay, Tara, can you just tell us what Playaway Products is?
Sure, it's, they're like audiobooks in a book built into one thing.
Oh,
Is that a good description of them?
It's almost like an MP3 player that only has one book on it. So it's like a small device to listen to an audiobook. It's not your phone, it's not an MP3 player,
Oh.
it just has that one book, but it's not like multiple CDs.
And
So
I-
audiobooks are typically on CDs
Yes.
or downloaded to your phone. This is almost in between. It's a digital
It's a device.
physical device, but it just has that one particular book on
Is it for kids?
They have them for adults also.
Oh.
Yep, both. They are pretty indestructible for kids though.
Very good to know.
It is good to know.
Okay. I saw it was a new vendor.
Okay, thank you. Now, may I have a motion to approve these items that were removed from the consent agenda?
I move.
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. And we will move on to other. So if anybody has any other,
Go ahead. I was gonna say that I thought the photography exhibit was wonderful. And I also thought the recent adult word thingy.
spelling bee?
Thank you. Or word thingy.
Can you spell
was-
that
yeah,
for
I know,
us?
was great. So and I thought the work of the artists from the photography exhibit were wonderful. And there were a lot of nice, happy people.
Yes.
And then the one woman who won actually participated in the spelling bee as well, so that was nice that she
Yeah.
moved on to that, but
Yeah.
good job, we did a lot in April and May.
Yes, it was a busy month.
I'm gonna piggyback on that and just give a shout out to Darius, who is an intern with Adult Services. Yes, and this was his first project, and he did a fantastic
She
job.
sure did, yeah.
I will be sure to pass that on to
Yes,
him.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope he feels as proud as we all do.
I'm sure he did, yeah. And thank the judges also once again for their service at the
Photo contest?
yeah, the photo contest.
I will. Any other, cause I have another.
May
Joy?
I go ahead?
Of course.
Just wanted to talk about Friends of the Library, their annual meeting, which was delightful, really well, I thought well attended. It was my first one, so I can't speak to it, but they did elect their slate of officers, and Kathy stays as president, and a lot of the same folks are staying on in their roles. Added 2 people or exchanged 2 people out. And the speaker, Jeff Morrison, Guardians of Detroit and Guardians of Michigan, fantastic, very, very nicely done. And that was it.
Any other?
Any great lunch partners too.
Well, something that came up at the last meeting under other was, Joan brought up the comment that was in the comment packet about having a police officer at the library.
Yes.
And some questions came up around library security and what we were obligated to have as library security. There really isn't one specific thing or a mandate that libraries have for what they have for security. If anything, it's that we need to have a policy and procedures about what a safe library looks like, which we have. We have a library conduct policy, we have rules of conduct that govern how we expect our patrons to act, and then we have a multitude of emergency procedures for a variety of different scenarios. Libraries just vary so widely. This is a very big building, very well resourced with a large staff, but there are many libraries that are, tiny little buildings. One person might work there, maybe they're open only a few hours a week. What we could do versus what that group could do would be totally different. So the needs are just so different. I feel confident in the procedures that we have and the policy that we have. We do a lot of staff training, we do a lot of talking about our procedures. I feel like we're doing all the things that we possibly could do. We have security cameras, we have secured entrances and exits, and we're gonna upgrade that as we just talked about. The only thing we don't have that maybe some other libraries have is a security officer on site. At the Southfield Public Library, we had third-party security, and it's not a great situation. It takes a lot of relationship building and communication. You've got staff people coming in and out. I don't think that we need that here. I think the comment was sparked by all the mass shootings that we hear about in the news all the time.
Of course.
Which I feel warps that lens that we look at library security through, because it's sucking up all the air in the room. It's the big thing. So I don't know. I hope that puts your minds a little bit more at ease.
That we are in compliance because we have policies and procedures in place.
Yes.
And you've worked with the township.
Yes, we have an excellent relationship with the police, as evidenced by their presence on April 30th at the controversial meeting. They always are on site anytime we need them. They've done investigations for us on things before, so.
So I think it also takes a preemptive lens as well as a, as you mentioned, sometimes everyday stuff is skewed by events around us, but I appreciate your preventative approach to the event. And should something like that come up as well, that's sort of outside the scope of
What we normally do, yeah.
Great, thank you very much for looking into that and for reporting back. Is there any other? If not, then I will remind everybody that our next board meeting is Tuesday, June 20th. We will discuss the topic of cereals bid. And it looks like that's the evening of the food truck.
Yes, it's the
Rally.
same night as
So-
the summer reading kickoff.
So
yeah.
come early and
Eat
hungry.
often.
Yeah, come early and eat off. Okay, so with that, I will
Lengthy
adjourn
meeting.
the meeting. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you so much. That was a lot to talk about.